Alright, hello. Welcome to Friday night. So we have finished the official streams of Darkest Dungeon, and now we're moving on to just a couple of random fun things before we come up with another larger project. So today I have something for you that I found. Basically, the developer is an indie developer over on, and they were making a bit of a ruckus over on Twitter, and yeah, the game is called SKALD Against the Black Priory, and this is just a demo. So I've got a game in here that's got a couple hours of time into it, but we'll start over just to kind of show you the beginning of this. The demo's available on Steam. It's pretty limited at this point, but you know, there's gonna be more to go as far as I can tell. I certainly hope. The game has a graphical style which is kind of a combination of Ultima 5 approximately, with a little bit of Pool of Radiance in there. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. It's got a little bit of some nice, you know, large scale art as well. And in the bit that I've played, I've really enjoyed the gameplay for a few reasons that we'll get into. So yeah, the other thing that's worth noting is that there's a bit of a kind of a Cthulhu mythos or Lovecraftian feeling behind the world. It's a very, you know, medieval kind of, I'd almost call it low fantasy, like low magic fantasy world. There's not like a whole lot of spellcasting as far as I've seen. But there's a bunch of eldritch monsters here and there, and you gotta deal with them and stuff like that. So anyway, without me yammering on any further, let's get started. So it starts out with the difficulty choice. We'll do normal. And we'll select normal. You'll notice that the music has kind of that that kind of old school meaty feel to it. There are only 2 available classes right now. I've played a veteran, but I think I'm going to try the thief this time. So we'll have the rogue archetype with the agility attribute being major. We have evasion, backstab, and pierce armor. You can see there is magic, right? There's the battle magus, or the guild magus, or the hierophant, or the augur. Those are probably all going to be magical based kind of priest and mage classes. But this is all we get for now. We have to select a background. Unfortunately, only one background is open. That's the mercenary background. They're not fully implemented. Must be considered placeholders for the final game. I grew up in mercenary camps. I get +1 crafting, +1 survival. Now I can distribute points. I get 5 stat points. And we're going to focus on these 2 so that we can get some combat done. Athletics is good. We're going to do stealth. We're going to do thievery. We're going to do survival. I mean, I guess I could get myself an extra point in diplomacy too. It's hard to say, you know? Then there's all your secondary stats like dodge ability, toughness, will, crit chance, initiative, melee skill, range skill, magical energy, not very much, fullness, well-fed, whatever. I guess this is morale? There's a few typos still kicking around. I hope they fix those. Vitality is the amount of damage you can take, so you get 2 times 4 of your fortitude plus your level times 6. Anyway, we've applied all of our points, so we'll hit continue. And then this is the part that reminds me of, what do you call it? Pool of Radiance. So we can, there's only 2 portraits for the moment, but you get to choose like This particular thing here is very... There isn't really a... Am I crazy here? Like, there isn't really a hairstyle choice for women. They're all beardy dudes. Beard, 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 beard. No beard, but very short hair. I guess that could work. Just try to match it up with the face, I guess. Apparently there is no tertiary color. You're limited to 15 colors, which is... Changes made here are purely cosmetic. Whatever. We'll continue here. I don't know, this just doesn't... It just looks manly. I guess we'll switch it back to a male character. This is kind of silly. What's that little red dot? You see that? There's like something like ever so slightly funky about. I don't know. It's a little weird, right? Not sure what's going on with those 4 pixels there. It's a little strange. And I can't seem to change them. I guess there's some female stuff there. Is that what that's supposed to be? I don't know, I guess we'll go like this. We'll see if we can make this work. Although we won't go like the full green. We'll go like earth tones for stealth. I don't think it matters, but whatever. Let's try this. Type a name. I don't know, what's a good female character name? Maybe I could pick one from Ultima. Sure, we'll go with Mariah from Ultima. So there's a little bit of non-linear storytelling here, which is kind of cool, and also a little confusing, but that's alright. On the wine-dark raging seas of the Outer Isles, a lone caravel struggles against the winds and waves toward the accursed island of Idra. There's some really nice text here, with pictures and stuff. It reminds me a lot of Betrayal at Krondor, which is also an excellent old CRPG. Quest started. Updated journal. The moan of creaking timbers, the tang of preserved fish. Your eyes slowly adjust to the darkness of the ship's dimly lit hold. Suddenly something strikes the hull and the ship rocks violently. Your heart begins to pound and a feeling of unease grows in your stomach. You get to your feet and become aware of agitated voices shouting up on deck. Something is not right. You should make your way up top and get a bearing on the situation. So, if you hold right click, you can see things that are interactable. I see a desk. There's nothing there. There's a chest here. Something just struck the ship. I can loot stuff. I can go into my inventory and I can equip a dagger. Better than nothing, right? The door has been locked from the outside. It doesn't budge. Maybe I could slip the lock with a thin blade. I use the dagger. I slip it through a gap in the door and lift the bar that was locking me in. The door begins to creak open. I get experience points. As it swings open, I can now clearly make out cries from the deck above. I should make haste. So here's another chest. I can loot this. You can kind of loot everything all at once. But what we'll do is we'll equip a bow, equip a helmet, equip a real sword, and equip some real armor. Traveler's garb, you can have clothing and armor. It's worth noting. Alright, we continue. I spotted something. I stop dead as I narrowly avoid stepping in a rust-red puddle. The stench of blood fills my nostrils, and as I look around in the dim light of the hold, I realize someone or something fought for their life here. The same moment the thought hits you, a hiss sounds from the windows. Shadows. Windows. You squint toward the shadows as a hunched, fair-looking form slowly slinks forward. Tiny, disgustingly human-like hands, yellow fangs, and a grotesquely dexterous pink tail leaves no doubt of the creature's rodent nature. Though as it emerges from the shadows, it becomes abundantly clear that what may have started life as a common shiprat has now grown into something that has no right to exist. A second hiss sounds behind me, and the abominations lunge. Death or glory. So you can get flanked. We have 2 rabid rats. You get feats. Evasion is passive. Backstab is great if I actually, had flanked the enemies. I have Pierce Armor. I make it take a -2 penalty, but with a chance to bypass the target's armor, applying damage without deducting Soak. So if I... So there's like a targeting system. You can see that this rat is currently targeted. I don't have any spells. Probably the Pierce Armor isn't necessary. The rats aren't likely to have armor or significant soak, so we're just gonna beat them. It's interesting for a game like this. So like Ultima 5, when you fought a battle, you would go to a separate screen. And you would have the battle. You fight the battle, and you get victory in the separate screen, and then you come back to your regular screen. That was kind of the what'd you call it? The standard for CRPGs for a long time. You can turn torches on and off, but in this one, you fight in the areas that you fight in, or in the same areas that you move in, and. Honestly, it's pretty cool. Alright, to the stairs. Well, there's a crate here. There's some goodies in it. So one thing, this is the way it is now. I suspect it'll change a little bit in the real game, but basically, you can eat food to recover hit points. So you just gain vitality straight up for eating food. Got my vitality back up, and we're good to go. I emerge onto the ship's lower deck. As my eyes adjust to the darkness, I become aware of a hulking figure standing in the shadows. Mariah, there you are, at last, growls a rough voice. Who's there? Show yourself. It's Roland. Where the tides have you been? Below decks. The island is in sight, but the damn Gilders refuse to land. They want to turn back. If we turn back, we lose our shot at the girl. Is one choice, but I can ask why. Did they say why? Only superstitious bilge. They claim they saw something in the water. Either way, our boys are about to show them some very real steel. If we can't land, we lose our shot. And no one gets paid. Listen here, I know our boys better than most. We've hired them to go to Idra and kill. If we don't pay them, things will go bad quickly. The sailors are bloody terrified. They claim something is hunting us. Let's go, for all the good it will do. Wait, there are a few sailors up ahead, rattled as a pair of rabbits. Is there a way past them? There are 2 doors ahead. Take the left, and we should be able to sneak past them. Anything else? Let's get off this bloody boat. Okay. Roland is now part of the party. There's a note. Kook, I cannot stand another meal of salted fish. There is a limit to how long a man can live on salt, potatoes, and perklin. Take heed, or get a dagger in the eye, ye cheap bastard. There's a chest here. We can grab some thieves' tools. There's a grindstone. We don't need to use that. Salt and lemons. Alright, so he said take the door on the left. Press Control to enter stealth mode, stick to the shadows, and be sure to reach cover before your stealth runs out. If the stealth cover indicator is green, you're in cover. So you hit stealth, and you don't hold it. And I got through without alerting those two guys. But surely they'll see me if I go try to grab that chest. There's a lantern. I pick it up. You can use a lantern in this game. Here's a flimsy wooden door. So this is actually pretty cool. They do, like, first off, they give you these things where you have, like, a choice, generally. Often, you'll have a choice. So I can either choose to pick the lock, or I can choose to force the door, right? My thievery and athletics are both 5. But look at that. The difficulty is much lower for forcing the door. So if we force the door, it rolls the dice, I unlock it. The sailors stare at me wide-eyed and terrified. Dead Emperors is coming for us, it whispers to me. One of them draws a weapon with shaking hands. Diplomacy versus 10. Calm yourself, you're guild sailors. Must roll a 9 or above. Ooh, this is a rough one. Failure. 9 does not beat 10. Half insane with terror, the sailors scream and lunge. This is bad. So... there's a defense mode. And placement means a lot. Now, as you can see, we have like 3 bars here. The green is like in very much the same way as it happens in Betrayal at Krondor. You have kind of like a top-level health, which is like health before you start getting like impaired, and then you have red health, which is your like real health. When we bloodied the enemy, that means that he's in his I'm losing real health mode, which works for me. Now it's unfortunate we got into a fight with these 2 sailors. There we go. They're down. We get some experience points, but unfortunately, there's a surgery door key. Unfortunately, this is not the best situation. Yeah, it would have been better to... It would have been better to try to get to the deck without. Anyway, mutiny. We emerge onto the deck and see 2 groups of men facing each other with weapons drawn. The ship shakes violently in the grip of a storm as lightning tears across the sky. Amidst the din of the storm and their frantic arguments, you bellow for the attention of the assembled crewmen and mercenaries. Both the ship's captain and the leader of the mercenaries you hired, a coarse thuggo man named Estavo, turn their attention to you. They look ready to use the unsheathed weapons in their hands at the slightest provocation. So we'll address the captain. I direct my attention to the captain. I know him to be reasonable but suggestible. At present, his usually placid eyes are wild with panic or anger. I paid you for passage, did I not? The captain lowers his weapon and speaks earnestly. The coast of Idra is cursed. We've heard tales and assumed them grog-drenched rumors only, but there is something between us and the shore that will drag us all to a watery grave. What are you talking about? What have you seen? Not but glimpses. My men have seen the shadow of something deep in water stalking us. Nothing natural moves like that. Gustavo glares murderously at the captain. So I can... You renege on our deal? There's desperation in the captain's voice. We are seasoned sailors. We do not balk at shadows. You need to be alive to rescue the girl you speak of. So... Gustavo laughs. Danger I don't mind. Working for fools, that's how people get killed. Before I can reply, Gustavo whistles and his men charge at me and the ship's crew. So basically you can end this in one of two ways. You can have the sailors be hostile, or you can have the mercenaries be hostile. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to avoid being flanked. One sailor, one mercenary. The way that the damage shows up, it shows up as, like, how to put it? The damage shows up over the person dealing the damage, not the person taking the damage. It's worth noting. One more sailor down. One more mercenary down. One more sailor down. This is not looking good. Now, there are rules for disengaging from melee combat, things like that, so... In general, you want to try to not... You lose turns, basically, by doing that, and you don't want to lose turns if you can avoid it. There we go. The mercenaries go down, but we have this, and the sailors are still kind of barely alive. I rest my sword arm and survey the carnage. Suddenly there's a loud crash as something collides violently with the hull. Surrounding mercenaries and crewmen alike fight to keep their footing as the ship lurches. Suddenly, huge, monstrous tentacles burst from the water around the ship. For a split second before the terror sits in, you wonder what Gustavo must be thinking as the monstrosities loom over him. After reaching their full health, the tentacles curve inward and smash into the ship. Some pierce straight through the deck, others snap the masts like they were matchsticks. You stand frozen in place. Through a haze of splintered wood and panic screams, you notice Roland. He throws himself out of the way of a tentacle, but begins to fall overboard as the ship lurches again. Go to his aid. I dash toward the fractured rail. I dodge holes in the deck. I dodge wounded men who beseech me for help. Roland hangs by one arm from the side of the ship. I try to grab him. I lunge for his arm, but he loses his grip, and my fingers close only around thin air. I missed him by an inch. He falls downwards. But if he survives, he may be more inclined to help us. I watch as he is swallowed by the raging sea. The ship is listing fatally, and I see the great tentacles high above me, poised for the coup de grace. Abandon ship. I jump. I hear the terrible rending of wood giving in to flesh. The impact of the water winds me. The impact of the water wins you. Winds you? Wins you? I guess... I think what they're trying to say is that the impact of the water knocks the wind out of me. The waves pummel me down. The currents beseech me to go deeper, ever deeper. And we sink. Two weeks earlier. So we've completed the quest to Zephyr. We can look at our journal. First off, our inventory has been cleared. But if we look at our journal, Roland fell overboard, day 151. And the Zephyr. I need to investigate what's happening with the Zephyr. Mutiny broke out as the crew refused to bring the ship closer to Idra. They claimed the island was cursed. The 100 Suns is hostile. Everybody else is neutral. So, a guardsman is dressed in the livery of the noble house Baron. The guard scowls at me. Armsmaster Lyra waits you at the main entrance. You best talk to her if you're not already done so. So you can WASD this. We've got a dude here. An aging armored man in the livery of the Baron house stands and scowls at me. Eyes like coal peer out from a craggy face fringed top and bottom with wild white hair. Return the stare. The older man crosses his massive arms, steps forward, and leans toward me. So, young sellsword, come looking for a scrap, have you? His voice is gravelly, but there's a glint in his eyes, as though the old coals have begun to warm up. Kydian, you old fool. He barks laughter from the dense beard as he embraces you in a crushing bear hug. Kydian may be older and grayer, but from the force of the hug, you didn't reckon you'd have any more chance of beating him now than you did as a 12-year-old. It's good to see some things haven't changed. Kydian steps back and allows me to breathe, before grabbing me by the shoulders. We heard of your father's passing. Truly, he sits with the golden dead now. Tell me, how did he die? So we get to choose kind of a bit of our background here. So we can choose that he died in glorious battle. And the old warrior died a fitting death. He's quiet and then breaks into a grin. We'll raise a cup to his name together, you and I, as soon as you're done with Cato, and I can rustle up some ale fit for a guest. Why am I here? Master Cato will chew your ear plenty when you see him, Mariah. Lyra, the new Master-at-Arms, awaits you by the main entrance. She'll escort you, and don't ask her not to, if you think I had a temper. The joke hides the note of anxiety in the grizzled house guard's voice, or fails to hide that. I can try a diplomacy check. You see, they tell you what it is. It's a 15. I'm not going to pass a 15, so I'll just look for the Lyra. I'll look for Lyra. If you want to explore, take this lantern. Lord Baron will wait, and we don't want you getting lost in the hedge maze again. Whatever may come to pass, it did this old warrior a barrel of good to see you again. The old man slaps you on the shoulder in parting, almost knocking you off balance. He doesn't seem to remember something as he leads in conspiratorially. My damn knees are acting up again. I cannot hardly sleep on account of the aches. I'd take an arrow in the leg any day. If you're going over to the kitchen later for a bit of grub, a bottle of brandy from the wine cellar would make me a happy man. Don't keep Lyra waiting long. Talk to her first, and I'll be here for later. So, you can see that, like, the character sprite changes when I equip the lantern or unequip the lantern. You notice that it says what time it is, so it's about 10 p.m., so it's dark. Fortunately, there's lots of, like, torches around. And here is Lyra. She stands before the main entrance to the villa. Her posture speaks of a graceful, cold power, that of a dueling ace. No doubt she is the new Master-at-Arms. As I approach, she offers a quick, neat bow, just know low enough to be respectful. Greetings, Mariah. Master Cato welcomes you back to House Baron. He's eager to meet with you and will be ready in a short while. In the meantime, visit the kitchen for food, and then walk the grounds and gardens. Very well. I'm sure you still know your way around. The kitchen is to the east, and the garden and hedge maze to the west. Come back and check in with me when you're done. So we now have a quest to explore the area. I enter the kitchen, and a pair of scullions offer a hurried bow. It's much quieter, emptier, and gloomier than I remember. Old Magda is no longer where she used to be, sitting by the oven, kind, red-faced, and tending a shank of lamb. This is kind of cool. They give you a chance to, like, listen to your own backstory, basically. I remember the matronly woman as she sat humming, pouring fat over the roasting meat. Child, come here, will you? She was always a beacon of kindness in a childhood where such qualities were few and far between. She clasps me gently with her tubby hand. Have you eaten? Before you can answer, she produces a bundle of treats from her apron. As daughter of the Master-at-Arms of the Great House Baron, you did not go wanting, materially at least. Thank you. Magda looks at me with kind eyes as I pick at the bundle. He's here again, down in the cellar. He's not so good, my child. Sleeping now, but it would be best if you got him to bed before his men see him like this again. The knot in your stomach is as real now as it was when you were 12. I'll go get him. Don't worry, he won't make a fuss. He just needs time. You know, Mariah, deep wounds take a long time to heal. She turns back to her meat and resumes her meandering humming. A man clears his throat, snaps me out of my reminiscence. May I help you, milady? A man in a chef's outfit offers in a hoarse voice. The chef offers a short bow and a tired but sincere smile. I am Chef Armand. My humble kitchen is at your disposal. I was told of your arrival only minutes ago and my oven must be fired up again. You must be famished. I am. I suggest, while I stoke the fire, you run down to the pantry and fetch a cured ham and cheddar cheese. Then I will teach you how to cook my renowned melted cheese sandwich, and you will never want for an evening meal. Pantry is west of the wine cellar. Cheese is in the northernmost room. Return with cured ham and cheddar, and I shall provide bread and instructions. Now, venture forth. Kaidian asked me to get him some brandy. The old wretch is too cowardly to come himself, so he sends you instead. It will be the end of him, I say. Then again, whom I deny, the old fool his few pleasures. You'll find a crate of fine Goremian brandy in the northeast corner. He wanders back and forth, tending the fire and keeping his kitchen tidy. He has the gait of a man who has been on his feet for far too many hours. Alright. So here's the path to the cellar. There's a lantern in it, but I don't need it. I already have one. Empty bottles. Wine tasting. Cool gust of air. See, you're going to find yourself holding that right-click button a lot. What's this? Cured ham. I picked up 2 cured hams. You can double bump into a thing to get cheddar cheese. And now the brandy. I am gripped by a long-hidden memory. I sealed the memory, but in so doing preserved its strength, and now it demands freedom. I can still recall smelling him before I could make out his writhing shape in the dim light of the cellar. Mistress Valeria opened the door. My father doesn't even notice me in the throes of his intoxicated ramblings. How could they take her? Her chambers were locked from inside. Where is she? Shake sense into him? We found her, wandering the forest outside the estate. Mistress Valeria. Help him stand. He leans heavily on me, but he manages to stand. She was never the same. Whatever happened broke her. It was the girl, you know. The seed was planted in Valeria that night. And how could you know? You were but a babe yourself. I helped to lead him out of the cellar. Lord Cato trusted me, and I failed him. But Valeria was the one to pay the price. Mind broken, and that spawn of a child. Enough. Don't talk back to me, you bastard. What do you know about honor? As much as your harlot mother. My father steps away unsteadily, tears streaming down his face. I draw a ragged breath and snap out of the memory. My knuckles are white. I'm alone in the damp cellar, and I don't want to dwell there. Brandy. That's a start. I have your medicine. Kaidian snatches the bottle, uncorks it, and drinks deeply. His eyes close in relief, lets out a deep sigh. May your sleep be dreamless. An old soldier's greeting. Something one mercenary would say to another as a prayer to not dwell on painful memories. The kind that comes with work. Your father and I. Your father and I would always part with those words. Now I've held you long enough. Be on your way. Alright. Now we just need to check out the maze. Now there is... Okay. Stand before the gate to the hedge maze. It stirs old feelings of dread and elation. Sounds and smells, as they were long ago, call to me from distant memory, and I feel I could easily plunge into the depths. Which daydream is it this time? Are you valiantly defending me from rebels again? Embla throws a pine cone at me, snapping me from my reverie. She's 10, and I'm a year her senior. Let's play hide and seek in the maze. I'll hide. I faintly hear someone yell her name from the distance. You better run, Starchild. Only my mother ever calls me that, she says, frowning. Where did you hear it? Before I can reply, she flings another pine cone at me and darts off into the maze. I hear a man's voice yell her name again, much closer now. Either way, she's lost to you in the winding passages of the hedges. My memory tugs at me, urging me onto the center of the maze. So here's something that I discovered but didn't really like in my earlier play. You can click anywhere and your character will automatically make a path there, even if you've never seen it before. So I can just kind of click randomly and explore the hedge maze without having to worry about remembering anything. This dude's lost, but he doesn't let us like take him further out or anything. I guess it's his loss. Here's the center of the maze. It's less impressive than I remember. The pond was once an ocean, the rock at its heart a windswept island. You found me, Daydreamer. I remember the tone of her voice. I can almost see that impish 10-year-old girl wading through the pond. Why do you always come here? I like the water. It's calm. I note the faintest tang of ozone. She makes a slow-motion hop through the water, her fingers trailing the pond surface. Where water and skin meet, strange colors bleed and spread across the surface. Embla, you'll get in trouble. Stop it. She moves her fingers across the water surface like a painter's brush. Colors spill across the pond, and for a sleeping moment, you fancy that you see cloud-topped mountains, or was it the ramparts of an impossibly large city reaching toward the heavens? You can definitely see the Lovecraftian influence here. The silence is shattered by a shout, along with the beguiling images. Mistress Embla, the master requests you in the house immediately. That's my father. Something's wrong. His mother. She's ill again. I think I cause it. With what I can do, it poisons her mind. How long until mother isn't mother? Or until father isn't lord? Or your father isn't master at arms? How long will any of it last? I don't know. No one does. You ever feel like everything is a lie, like there's a veil that covers everything, but in some parts it's thin enough to see through. Embla starts as your father steps breathily into the enclosed garden. He's red-faced from exertion and anger. Young lady, you can't run off like this. The whole estate is looking for you. Your mother is ill and needs you now. My father shoots me a stern glance. I'll deal with you later. Embla says nothing. My father grabs her by the arm and hauls her past me back to the house. She doesn't meet my eyes as she passes. Finding myself back in the present, a chill crept into my bones. Time to move on. So you can you can use this to survey any maze, basically. It's a little cheap. But we have completed the different quests. Now it's time to talk to, what's her name again? Oh, right. I didn't actually make the sandwich. Here we go. Chef Armand wanders back and forth, tending the fire. I have the ham and cheese. Here's some bread. The cauldron is empty, just warm enough for me to use. I need the bread, ham, and cheese to make the sandwich. Otherwise, it won't be a melted cheese and ham sandwich. So you can, there's crafting. I can basically choose the cheese sandwich and add those items and craft one. There we go. You'll notice that I used up one of each thing, as the recipe says, but I made 4 sandwiches, basically. So I can put everything back in my inventory, and now I can go back over to here. Present the sandwich for inspection. That is the crust of the bread, the softness of the cheese, and the savoriness of the ham. Perfection. You shall indeed never go hungry in the night. 50 experience points. Buzzing. I mean, I guess we should try one. Food value of 10. It doesn't tell you what it's gonna... heal you, but who knows? Something good. Okay, now we should be ready to finish this. If my nostalgia is appeased, the master will see me now. Let's go. He's in his office just ahead. I remember the way. I suppose you do, but I'll escort you nonetheless. The opulence has faded. The shadows are longer. Much has changed since the last time I was here. Try to remember. It's been years, maybe decades since I was here. Not since my father was the house arms master. Not since... I must have my wits about me, and perhaps now is not the time to dwell. Not since my father's exile. I was 12 when we were driven from the household. Mercenary life is bloody and unforgiving. Those years stole my childhood, and eventually they took my father too. But he had always insisted, to his dying breath, that his failure had been his own, that he had gotten the fate he deserved. Memories are still painful. Flanking the doorway are two marble statues. The craftsmanship is stunning, but the sight of the two women depicted fills me with sadness. Examine. One is Valeria Baron. The other is Embla Baron. So Valeria was the mother, and Embla was the child. Daughter of the house, now a woman grown strong and clear-eyed. Her likeness is none her mother's cowed timidness. How is Mistress Valeria? She is vacationing in the countryside. And Embla? We should hasten. He's been impatient to see me. The Master's office lies through here. Do you mind if I look around? Master Cato summoned me and I don't intend to keep him waiting. Very well. Cato Baron sits tall in a tasteful but modest reception room. He looks less imposing than I remember, with a few more crow's feet. However, he still has an air of composure and of casual authority. I take a seat across a formidable desk. This study is half-lit, giving a morose cast to its opulence. The older man's face creases into a tired but genuine smile, which momentarily lifts some of the room's oppressive mood. Impressive. It's a mercy to see you again, your own woman and in your prime, he says, before a frown consumes his smile. It's just a shame our reunion is overshadowed by the fates of those we love, but perhaps together we can yet improve our collective circumstances. So you know my father is dead. I shan't deny it. I was saddened to hear of his passing. Despite everything, I remember him fondly. No need to dwell. And the years have bestowed you with wisdom. I am glad, for it has forsaken the house of Baron. Why have you called me? Embla is missing. I beg of you, Mariah, help me find my daughter. Help her return home, where she belongs. What's happened? She left without notice a week ago. From scant clues, we believe she boarded a ship bound for Idra. Oh, you can click on these. Okay, so the blue stuff is clickable. I thought I tried that before, but I totally failed to, try it. Or I, clicked, too high or too low or something. It didn't work. So that's news to me, but there you go. Since then, there have been reports. No word has left Idra in days. Even the Imperial augurs are in the dark. I know not how this touches the fate of my daughter, but she must be returned to me one way or another. Do you know why she left? Something building in her for years, an aptitude. I suspect you already knew. In any case, it's grown much stronger lately and drives her in ways I don't understand. Why Idra? There's little on the island save the port of Horin. If Idra was her destination, she must have landed there. Once prosperous fort and fishing village. An old imperial port, home to a few hundred whalers, traders, and the occasional smuggler. How can I help? Hire mercenaries, go to Idra, search Horin. From there, do what needs to be done. Spare no cost, bring back my daughter. The port will be dangerous. I summoned Roland Greyeye, a crude but effective sellsword. He shall accompany me. Throat's starting to go out. He's a grizzled veteran, slowed with age, but experienced and reliable. He's also much respected by similar men, and will be instrumental in hiring a reliable crew. fraught with danger, but is also my chance to improve my fortune, materially and in honor. So we get to choose, like, why. I'll do it. Any final questions? Let's go. Return her to me. There's no other outcome of this affair. You have my word. Alright, we arrive in Chapter 1. I drag myself from the cold water onto the relative safety of solid rock. I try to stagger forward as exhaustion washes over me, and in a great black wave, oblivion takes me. Game over. I'm woken by the cacophonous cries of gulls. My body is a mass of pain and exhaustion, covered in 1,000 cuts and scrapes. The birds gather around me in eager anticipation. Wouldn't I be a feast? But not today. You notice that the character portraits change when you're bloodied. Moments or hours pass as you lay unmoving. I finally manage to force my eyes open. By some miracle, I am not only alive, but on the shores of Intra. Strewn about is the wreckage of the Zephyr. No other survivors. The goal is clear. Rescue my childhood friend from whatever fate has befallen her. Unless I can find equipment and companions, I may have cheated death in vain. I get to my feet. My head spins. Sudden blur of movement in the corner of my eye, and I attempt to spin around to face it. Instead, I stumble around and fall down. Standing above me is a young woman dressed in nautical guild livery. Livery? Wet red hair clings to her face. Magi's balls. That's quite an exclamation. I was sure I was the only one to make it ashore. She leaps from the rock and kneels down beside me. Before I manage to speak, she fetches a wineskin and offers it to me. The skin is nearly empty. There's a last mouthful of brandy. I drink it down, and I feel a modicum of warmth creep into my bones. I recognize her face. She must have served on the Zephyr. What's your name? Katiana is my name. The crew calls me Kat, or I guess they did. You have to get up. We need to get off this beach before you freeze, or worse. There's something wrong. Can't you feel it? Taste in your mouth. There are beasts, huge sea creatures I've never seen before. I saw them dragging dead crewmen into a cave west of here. I hope they were dead. What do you suggest? We need supplies and shelter. There may be salvage among the wreckage, and there's a house just north of the cliffs. Warm fire and some food. Also, there's a cave to the west. I think the crabs dragged off most of the corpses. What if they're not all dead? There might be other survivors. There's a chance one of the officers was carrying the seal when the boat sank. If I can find it, the Nautical Guild will give anything to have it returned. It's a captain's seal, a medallion carried on every guild vessel. Forged by the Magi, secret powers. But I don't know anything about that. The guild pays well to have one returned if a ship is ever lost. Normally the captain has it. Might have been the first mate that had it. I think he was still alive when the ship sank. The cave to the west is where we should start looking. Yes, let's go. I found a bow in a cargo crate. We best find you a weapon too as soon as possible. We'll need it before long. So you'll notice that the character's posture also changes when you're bloodied. So we don't have much in inventory. She has a bow, but we don't have any weapon at all. Here's a barrel. Cheap jewelry. A warhammer. I guess I can equip the warhammer. That's not bad. So this is what I was talking about when I was talking about lots of opportunities to do checks. I can climb the wall ahead. It has a difficulty of 10 and is on athletics. I must roll 6 or above. So let's try to ascend. 13 beats 10. And that brings us up here. We can pick up eggs from these nests. And we can kind of explore from a relatively safe angle. I don't know why I can't move past there. Not sure if there's a way to actually, like, attack. There should be. Is there... Hold on, let's look at the key bindings real quick. Feats... Torch, level, inventory. Hide. I don't see an attack, which is very surprising. Okay, fine, fair enough. There we go. We successfully make it down. Oh, and I guess we may as well level her up while we're at it, right? So you can level up. You can go to level 2. It heals you, which is worth noting. Plus 6 vitality, plus 0 attunement, plus 10 development points. Development points are like skill points. The only thing I can afford right now is fleet-footed. But I'd rather wait and get something useful like toughness or dirty fighting or something like that. We don't have charge, so... I guess charging is... feats. Yeah, she doesn't have charging. Anyway. Before we get into a fight with some crabs, we're going to look around a little bit more. Here's a plate. Now you might think, why am I looting all this vendor trash? And you would be right, but I do have the advantage of having played this already, so we will find the reason for that in a moment. If you've not already done so, this might be a good time to level up. We did though, so we're good. There's a dude. We'll leave him to his dude ship for a little while. And not much going on here. Alright, let's talk to the dude. Lanky man, skin like sun-dried leather. Do Basilo's eyes deceive him? More ghosts? Or did the sea spit you back out alive? Not many are that lucky. Who are you? I make my living picking at whatever the mother of maelstroms doesn't swallow. It's been rich pickings lately. Crates and barrels and even the odd fleshy morsel. Rich pickings. Basilo has a proposal. Shore's bursting with bounty day. Man can make a fortune if he sets his mind to it. Better yet, no need for Basilo to risk his hide. You seem fit enough and I've got coin. I'll buy whatever you bring me. Beware them clippers. Clippers? Crabs and critters and such. Growing large and strange this time of year. Don't get your leg in their clippers. In any case, I'll be at the old abandoned farmhouse right behind us. Find me there. And off he goes. So we already did a pretty good job of salvaging the stuff, so we're gonna go visit the farm. Overgrown derelict, appears to be abandoned. Must have been quaint once. Suddenly, there's an unmistakable sound of children's laughter on the wind. Oddly distorted and a strange echo in it. Chilling. The sound is interrupted by a woman's cry of pain or sorrow. We're gonna pick up some pumpkins. A woman sits in the grass ahead of me with a well looming over her. She is emaciated, ragged, and covered in grime. How long has she been sitting there? Days? Weeks? She rocks back and forth, almost catatonic. And I hear it again. The sound of laughter rises from the well, and the woman wails. Taters. Pick up all the taters. Pick up all the leeks. Carrots. She rocks back and forth as she stares blankly at the well. It took them. Called out to them. I heard it. Funny thing is, I heard it calling with my voice. Oleg and Anja live in the well now. They're calling for me to join them. Can I help? It will never stop. It will multiply until it covers all the lands and all the seas, and when we are all dead in bones, the Conqueror Mold will dress our corpses in black mourning veils. Her voice is flat, monotone. The strange words almost seem to come from somewhere else. Then she lets out a deep sigh. A deep sigh. If I had my children's bones to bury, it would give me some respite. We have a quest. I guess you can turn campfires on and off. There's the one who cheated Mother Maelstrom. You loaded with trinkets? I can cook here. There's a fireplace. And actually there's a bed. Let's trade. So this is why we were picking up all the random garbage. Now, can we buy any equipment? We have 45 gold. And he wants more than that for anything. Although, there's a shield. Healing potions are rare, it seems. Like, there aren't that many of them. Now, in our inventory, we have that Warhammer. She has a bow, but no short-range weapon. So maybe I just need the shield. Although let's buy some thieves' tools. Since my character is a thief. And we don't have a lantern, so we'll buy one of these. And then we probably want a shield, so we'll buy this too. So there goes most of our gold. But that's okay. Nothing else to do with it yet. Equip a shield. Equip a lantern. And we don't have what we need for any recipes right now, so that's too bad. Okay, it's battle time. Blood will flow. We'll let them move in. They charge. One down. One bloodied. Movement numbers are pretty small in this game. Like 5 steps is pretty far. Now the hound ears. It's worth noting that they are actually reagents. So like if we get alchemy abilities later on, they might be of use. There's also more onions out here. Because the color palette is so limited, you have to remember to use that right click thing to outline stuff, because it's very easy to just not see anything. One dog down. Dire hounds. It's also very nice that you auto-loot, like, as opposed to like having to like pick things up one at a time and look for every corpse. It's much easier this way. So we're starting to fill up on weight with, like, food mostly. That's okay. We'll use it up as we get injured in this area. Some more pumpkin. Let's try it. Success. More eggs. There's a cave entrance down there. You see that? So I can head down here. Success. It's good that we put those points into athletics, huh? It's like I knew that we needed to do that. And totally didn't know the first time that I played this game. Alright. A cave. Eons worth the sea's ravage upon the land has given birth to this cave. A stench of seaweed and rotting flesh rises. So foul it is that I feel like some evil entity is attempting to force its way through the pores of my skin into the core of my being. Try not to vomit. Must roll 9 or above. Success! That's a pretty good toughness roll, honestly. I calm my breathing. The stench persists. I push the image of foul things in the darkness feasting on entrails from my mind. On into the darkness. So we can actually turn off our thing here. We can sneak. You see that? And you can kind of like turn the thing on and off. Now here we are. You see that we're losing stealth. That's because those enemies are nearby. But if we get far enough away, our stealth will recover. So now we can surprise the enemies. And get backstabs. Now the enemies are alerted now. But I'm okay with that. 2 crabs down. Bloody the darn thing. We moved, so we charged. I guess it is just like a thing. No, it works. Victory, experience, lots of experience. Cave child is a type of mushroom. I had nearly grown accustomed to the foul stench, but once more it renews its assault on my senses. Toughness. Forge ahead. Roll. Failure. I vomit violently. That's no good. The corpses of the doomed Zephyr are arranged around the chamber's central column. A pale light shines down from an aperture in the cave ceiling. Is there a form of artistry to their arrangement? For a brief moment I almost find it beautiful. Thought comes into my mind unbidden, an interloper. I step between the corpses. I spot a man who I recognize as the first mate. There's a chain around his neck. I fish out an octagonal amulet. This is a captain's seal. As I pocket the amulet, I become aware of movement in the waters around me. Stalked eyes regard me as several of the chitinous horrors emerge. They have charged at you yet. Perhaps there is a way for me to sneak past them if I take great care. Must roll 7 or above. Success! I carefully step away from the corpse and try to make my way out of the horrid chamber. So it bumps me over here. And it gives us an opportunity to flee, basically. So raw food increases your vitality like 1 point per or so. It's not like it's particularly incredible. There's a strangely haunting piping on the wind. forge ahead. Oh! We have... charge for crit. One crab down. Two crabs down. Nope. There we go. So we can grab the loot. We can eat some raw potatoes. We can continue searching. So there's nothing useful here. Even though it looks like there could be. We can go into stealth mode. Large, misshapen crabs emerge from the water all around me. Intentionally or not, the seemingly mindless beasts have lain in ambush. Alright, fight time. One down. Improve our position. Charged but missed. 4 damage. Okay, so she's flanked now. And now she's not flanked anymore. In fact, now we can flank, except we killed the darn thing. Did you see there was a shadow moving around over here earlier? Or crabs? We'll leave them alone for the moment. Hold on. It was over here. You see this? Here's a dude. Who goes there? A haggard man dressed in the livery of Nautical Guild huddles in the corner of the small chamber. Dead Emperors, please tell me you found a way out. I have. I don't even know how long I've been here. Days? I haven't died from thirst yet. So... explain the way to the exit. There's a farm just inland. And off he goes. That was Ari, poor bastard. He's losing his mind the way he was talking, trapped down here for days. He's an ass, but he didn't deserve that. None of them did. It's battle time. 1 backstab. 1 charge. Bloodied. You'll notice that we do level up fairly quickly. Oh, this is bad. Alright, one crab down. This one looks bigger, so we want to take it out preferentially. There we go. 2 crabs down. There we go. Lots of experience. Lots of loot. So now that we're injured, we can level up. 6 vitality, 10 dev points. So now I can afford whatever dev points I want. And dirty fighting is probably where we want to go. Then it's her turn. Oh, except I didn't level her up. Derp. Okay, there we go. Now she only has 10 dev points, so we're going to leave her alone for the moment. Sturdy wooden chest. Now this time, we've got Thievery 5 versus Difficulty 10, or Athletics 5 versus Difficulty 10. We're going to try the pick. Success. So I beat it by 1, so it loses 1 hit point. 2 hit points that time. Oh, but it uses up a thieves tool as well. That's too bad. Unlocked. See, that does physical damage to me. I can loot all of that. Old ruined shipping crates. A free lantern. A trail of blood. Some cave child. So there's a path here. Wait, is there a path further north? No, there's not. Okay. So we can go out of the cave this way. I pull the octagonal seal from my pocket and examine it. See, I have no lore and no crafting, pretty much. Roll 10 or above. 10 or above. Failure. 10 does not beat 10. So ties lose. The artifact is not mundane. I'm inclined to agree with Kat that it might be worth something to the Nautical Guild. Beyond that, the strange amulet is beyond my ken. It's heavy in my hand. For a moment I remembered being on the Zephyr. I shudder. If we ever get off this bloody island back to the mainland, the Guild will pay well to have that returned. Remember who told you about it. Don't worry, we'll split the coin. You can keep the coin. All I want is to be done with the Guild. Be free to wander. Maybe wander up to my brother and stick a knife in his fat gut. My older brother sold me off to the Guild. I was 12. 20 years I owe them on account of that bastard. I've already wasted 10. Her voice breaks for a moment before steel creeps back into her otherwise soft features. Like I said, gutting the guy will go a long way towards setting things right. And the amulet will help? I'm free now. The Guild doesn't like to let their assets go, and they have a way of catching up. Dangling a recovered seal in front of them is exactly the kind of thing that might sway them. First we deal with the Guild, then your brother. I like you more and more. Let's get off this bloody island. Alright, we can fight the... There we go. Is that beautiful or what? Alright, so there's the exploration of that. So that's quest number 1. Here's quest number 2. The well is ordinary enough until I examine it more closely. A thin layer of slimy black mold clings to its walls, and the heavy odor of filth rises from its depths. I could swear I heard something splash down there. There's a ladder, so I can descend easily. As I descend deeper, I realize that the black mold covers most of the walls. Even the air is thick with floating black specks. It seems to form nodules. My mind fills with images of the nodules bursting open in an obscene mockery of birth and black worm-like tendrils mold, spilling forth into the world. I have an irrational urge to touch the nodes. Let's not do that. Perhaps it's the thickness of the air, or the sickly miasmas that fill this part of the cave, but stars flash before my eyes. My mind is assaulted with images of alien landscapes. Cities? No, giant living structures, almost like coral, but large. So large it almost touches the sky. Then I see it. The structures writhe with obscene life. Innumerable black worm-like tendrils cover them. They beckon to you. Give in to them. Let them take hold. In the sky above me, something massive shifts. We are pushing on. There's another free lantern. I feel as if I'm dragged under and into the crushing blackness to unfathomable depths. There are stairs, or no, stars flash before my eyes again. I see impossible landscapes. Stairs. Cyclopean edifices of writhing black shapes. An age of worms. I understand. This is not an alien dreamscape. This is Warda. This is home. I am a high priest, the god regent of a perfect world of worms. And now it's time. Seven Eyes Sea. It comes. Give yourself. No. Roll. Success. I gather all my willpower and wrest back control of my faculties. In the wall ahead I spotted a festering ganglion of black ichor with two small human skulls leering from it. The mass of glistening mold pulsates with a grotesque peristaltic motion. Embedded is a small collection of animal bones. I have no problems identifying the two complete small human skeletons. Grab them bones. One by one, I pry loose the bones from the writhing of the ganglion. Its motions become more and more agitated as I work, and a wave of relief washes over me as the last piece comes loose. Now I must get the hell out of this death trap. Two diminutive shapes materialize, as if from the very walls themselves. Bodies alive with writhing mold. Their blank, idiotic faces stare up at me in grotesque imitation of life. My blood runs cold. Organs that should never shape human voices spill forth the sound of children laughing. Abominations! A loud shriek escapes from the horrors. The two pathetic creatures reshape into a single form that towers over me. It does not intend for me to leave. So we shift. Oh, it's dead. 35 experience points. That was easy. The skeletal figure of Marita sits in front of the well, rocking back and forth. I have your kid's bones. She blinks as if waking from a dream. Without a word, she gingerly takes a small bundle of bones in her arms. She cradles it for a moment, then looks up at me with grateful eyes. She strokes my cheek once and turns and wanders into the fog. I've set her free from the black mold. I fall to my knees and retch violently. If it was from the Conqueror mold or the emotional moment, I can't quite tell. It was the mold. There's a key left in the grass. It was left for me, and I pocket it. I regain composure and get to my feet. Shambling away from the well, I suddenly stiffen. Did I just hear something? A child's voice? Or maybe just the wind? Alright. How you doing, buddy? So there's Andrew. He's back. And alive. And we can... Let's trade. I have a lot of lanterns that I don't need. Oh, and I even have armor that I didn't equip because I'm dumb. Here's a fork. Sell. Can't sell that. Yeah, we'll keep everything else. So, yeah, we got armor, clothing, and padded armor. Checkered tunic. I don't know why we got 2 rags, but we got 2 rags. Oh, and we can give her the Warhammer. Okay, and here's a small key. It likely opens something in her cottage. She has a cottage? So we can sell the other... whatever. Sold for 0. So the other thing we can do is we can give her a lantern. Oh, and I unlocked the chest. I grabbed the stuff. Here's a bastard sword. It's improved damage. Same crit. Equip. Some jewelry. Here's Marita's cookbook. We can read it. tells us to make vegetable soup and farmer's omelet. So that's cool. Recipe book. That'll do it. So we can cook a little. Craft. 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 Clear. Vegetable soup. Craft, craft, craft. Craft, 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 craft. Craft, craft. And clear. So now we have some real food. Yeah. So we basically cleared this area. We can head north now. Do I want to leave? Leave. So here's our, overworld map. Very, very Ultima 5. Here's a lighthouse. Ancient lighthouse. Rises steeply from the bluffs. The beacon is lit, though it flickers weakly. There's a sinewy, armored woman with a shield and a broadsword. She's grunting and cursing as she tries to bind a wound on her arm. Red blood and mud cakes her face in armor. She's haggard. She freezes. Let me help you. No need. Offer her a drink from my water skin. She's Karilla. Used to call herself captain of a little mercenary company. Some rich trader from Adler's paid us well to come here looking for the Fury. Then things went bad. Lost them one by one till Nillis and Peter got their coins yesterday. Torn to pieces by hounds. It's just me now. What is the Fury? You never heard of the Santa Fury? Umbarian treasure ship. Disappeared 40 cycles ago. Laden heavy when she went. People have been looking for her ever since. I never put any stock in the legend, sailor's tale. But then this rich guy from Adler's up and offered to pay me and my company to go here and look for it. Easy money, right? Lay on dry land near the lighthouse. There's only one lighthouse on Idra, so this sounded easy. Needless to say, that's not how it went. We didn't find anything. We searched the island, and let me tell you, Santa's Fury is not here. It can't be. A ship on dry land and near the lighthouse nonetheless? It does not exist. I hate to see you spill your guts on this bloody island looking for some ghost ship. Then again, maybe you'll have better luck. Be careful. Idra's not peaceful anymore, and I suspect there are things out in the mist far worse than the hounds. I don't know where to start. There were lights in the sky, flashes, orbs. Some over Horin, some over the island's interior. Minor quakes. People lost their minds and animals started changing. I can't even tell you how long that was ago. Days? Weeks? I just need to get away, off this freaking rock. I'm gonna try to go east around the bay. Maybe there are larger groups of survivors there. Maybe someone with a way to get out of here. Good luck. And if you find the treasure, buy me a drink next time we run into each other. Alright. There's a free lantern. There's a shovel. There's some thieves' tools, which I enjoy. Oh, we've got a situation. No, son of a gun. You have to be careful to make sure that you choose the ranged weapon. Like that. There we go. Now we're talking. 229 experience, some loot, some goodies. There's a dead dude there. More battle. Yeah, terrain's important. She doesn't have that many hit points. One down. Oof, 6 damage is a lot. $14? Holy cow. I don't think those crabs are supposed to do that much damage. Okay, main character goes down. That's not the end of the world. Basically, as long as somebody survives, they lose experience for this fight. See? Only she got experience. And then you end up bloodied with 1 hit point. So what happens if I do Farmer's Amulet? 10 vitality. Vegetable soup. You notice that I'm gaining vitality and not the red stuff. And you don't gain the red stuff. Like, those are real wounds. The bridge is broken. Maybe I can jump it. Athletics difficulty 10. We'll leave. Okay, we're pretty badly bruised and bloodied, so we're gonna leave. We're actually gonna go back here. Because what's worth showing off is that if you need health, it is fairly simple. All you do is rest in a bed. You lose 8 hours, so it's now 11 o'clock, but that's alright. But I think this is a reasonable place to stop for tonight. So this is SKALD against the Black Priory, and it's currently out in demo form, but they're working on finishing it up. The demo, as you can see, is pretty fun. There's actually some stuff going on in the demo. You can pick it up and play it and make different choices from the ones I made and see what happens. So yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. What else have we got going on? Monday, more Silent Hill 4. Wednesday, more Legend of Grimrock 2. That one's been really fun. And then over on the YouTube channel, we've got Labyrinth of Toho and a no commentary Final Fantasy X run. So feel free to check any of that out if it sounds good to you. Otherwise, I'll be back here on Friday. I mean, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but we're going to be doing another random game on Friday. I think I know what we're doing, because I have another demo that I think is worth showing off. But I'll have to think about it. So yeah, look forward to that, and I will see you all later.